Hey students, welcome back to BBA Simplified by Dr. Vinky Sharma. In our today's session on team building and leadership, we will be talking about Unit 4. This unit talks about personality, which is an important part of understanding human behavior in any organization. So, in this unit, we will explore the meaning and concept of personality, various types of personalities, personality determinants, and also evaluation of the personality traits. Personality plays a major role in the workplace, behavior, team performance, leadership style, and communications. So, by the end of this unit, you will have a complete understanding of how personality shapes a human behavior, that too in professional as well as personal life. So, let's begin with the introduction to this concept called personality. It refers to the stable pattern of thoughts, feeling, and behavior that makes each individual a unique person, or we say unique personality. So it explains that why different people behave differently in the same situation, and why some individuals respond calmly while others they react too emotionally. Because personality it develops over the time through the experiences, through upbringings, environment, and the learning. So it helps us understand that how individuals think, interact, and deal with different challenges or with different situations, right? So we can here say that personality also directly influence the teamwork, leadership, communication, job performance, and decision making in the workplaces. Let's now come on to the definition or the meaning of personality. The word personality comes from the Latin word called persona, which means the mask. So, originally it referred to the mask which is worn by the actors in the ancient theatre. And gradually, the term evolved to describe the entire character of a person. So, it is said that we as human beings are generally wearing a mask called persona or personality in different situation, and we keep on changing this mask as per the situation and as per the person with whom we are interacting with. In modern terms, we can say that personality refers to the total sum of an individual's characteristics, which includes the behavioral patterns, the emotional reactions or tendencies, the attitudes and values, communication styles, habits and preferences, and the thought process of an individual, also the interpersonal style of any individual. So we can say and understand here that personality is not just what we show on the outside, it is the combination of the visible and the invisible trait that define who we are. Coming on to the concept of personality, we say that it explains the structure and nature of a person's behavior. So, personality is relatively stable, meaning that people generally behave in consistent ways across different situations. So, we again, the first thing that we understood is that it is relatively stable, and then we understood that people generally behave in the consistent way across the different situations. So, for example, if somebody has a habit of getting into panic come what may, so he would consistently in any situation would create a panic for himself and for others also, right? So here we will also talk about some of the key features of personality, that includes uniqueness. So we say that it is unique for every individual, every person they has a distinct personality. Then consistency, that we just talked about, we say that behavior patterns they remain stable over a period of time. It is also multidimensional. So it is influenced by biological, psychological, and social factors. Also, it includes emotional, mental, and the social aspect of an individual's characteristic. Then we say that generally personality is more organized, where which means that the traits, they work together in a structured way, and also it is influenced by various factors like heredity, environment, and the situations in which an individual grows. So in simple terms, we can say that the concept of personality helps us understand why people think, feel, and act differently. Coming on to the theoretical concept of personality, this term personality has been explained through several important theories. So each theory here highlight a different aspect of a human behavior. Talking about this trait theory, this theory states that the personality is made up of specific traits like honesty, confidence, discipline, or creativity. So these traits, they remain stable over a period of time. If somebody is confident, would remain confident. If somebody is honest, will always be honest with anyone or in every situation. Then is psychoanalytic theories given by Sigmund Freud. So according to Freud, personality is strongly influenced by the unconscious motives, the childhood experiences, and the inner conflict. He has actually described that an individual's overall personality is based upon the childhood experience from the age of 0 to 5 years. So it's, he says that it is influenced by unconscious motives, because during those 0 to 5 years, whatever we experience, it ultimately goes into our subconscious or unconscious mind. So that is why he has focused and stating this psychoanalytical theory is influenced by unconscious motives. The third theory is the humanistic theory, which is given by Maslow and Rogers. This approach focused on the personal growth, self esteem, and self actualization. So it believes that people are naturally good and are capable of improvement. As we grow, as we get mature, we will keep on improving and we will keep on growing naturally. So it focuses on the growth and the self actualization. Another theory is a behavioral theory. It states that behavior is shaped entirely by the environment, the rewards and punishments, and the learning that we get over a period of time. And finally, there is a theory which is given by Bandura. Albert Bandura stated and talked about the social cognitive theory. According to him, he said that personality is a result of interaction between the personal factors, behavior, and the environment, the people with whom we grow. So these theories, they all give us a deeper understanding of how the personality develops and why people behave differently. In fact, something other than from the subject's perspective, we actually see that all the theories are relevant from the perspective of development of a personality of any individual. Question comes that why it is important to study personality, because it helps us in various factors, specifically in the organizational setting where organizational behavior and management comes into the picture. So it helps us understand that why people work differently and how to bring out the best in them. So the first thing is that it helps in improving the communication. Knowing your team's personality, it definitely improves the conversations among the members and also reduces the conflicts. Then is there is always a better teamwork, so it helps in forming the balanced and effective teams. Then comes the conflict management. The conflicts can be taken care of with the better communication aspect. Then employee selection and recruitment. Organizations, they select the candidates whose personalities suit the job role and they finally do the selections accordingly. Then is the leadership development. We are able to develop a leadership skill in the individuals on the basis of the personality type they all come with within the organization. And finally, predicting the job performance. So here again, personality helps predict how a person may react in a workplace situation, so his performance would determine on to his reactions. So we here understand that personality is a key factor that shapes any human's behavior at work as well. So making it essential for all the future managers and the leaders to understand that what the personality is. Now let's understand various types of personality. It can be understood and classified in many ways. There are different psychologists who have proposed different models to explain how people behave and interact. Here in this unit, we will be talking about type A and type B personality, introvert and extrovert personality. We will be discussing about five factor model, the big five personality type, MBTI personality types, and the locus of control. So these classifications, they help us understand the individual differences and also in predicting the human behavior in the workplace. So let's begin understanding these types of personality one by one. Let's first talk about type A personality. It is associated with high level of competitiveness, urgency, and ambition. This type A personality are the individuals who are often very hardworking and goal oriented. Their characteristics include that they are highly competitive in their nature in whatever they do. They are always in a hurry, so there is a time urgent and there is a impatience that is generally seen in these kind of people. They are aggressive and highly driven also. Then they prefer multitasking because patience lacks into them, so they can't wait for one task to finish and then to start the another one. They are hardworking and achievement oriented, and also they easily get stressed or impatient, right? For example, CEOs, stock market traders, sales managers. So, if I talk about a sales market trader or maybe a sales manager who constantly work under pressure, and so they always want to win, which is usually a type A example. These type A individuals, they also excel in any of the fast paced environment, but they must manage their stress carefully. On the other hand, when we talk about type B personality, they represents a more relaxed, calm, and patient behavior style. So they are opposite to type A people. These individuals, they enjoy their life at their own pace and they experience much less stress. So looking at the key characteristics of these type B personality people, we see that they are relaxed, more relaxed and easygoing. They are patient and calm. They are less competitive. They enjoy creativity and free thinking. They handle the pressure without any panic. Also are able to maintain better work life balance. So they have a balanced life. For example, we see of a artist, a teacher, a counselor, or maybe writers who often display type B qualities. Why? Because they work creatively and they manage time more flexibly. So now we understand that both type A and type B personalities, they both have strengths. The key is to balance the ambition with the calmness. Let's move. This introvert personality, we see that they are the people who prefer quiet environment and inner reflections. They are not necessarily shy, but they simply feel more comfortable in calm and meaningful settings. So we see these key characteristics of introvert personality. They are more reserved and thoughtful. They prefer small groups or one-to-one conversation. They enjoy spending time alone. They are actually deep thinkers and good observers. They speak less, but they think more. They prefer meaningful relationship over large social circles. For example, there are writers, researchers, and software developers. They often display very introverted traits. Why? Because their roles require focus and concentration. So we can say that introverts are excellent at planning, analyzing, and working independently. On the other hand, we have extrovert personality. They are more outgoing, they are energetic, and they enjoy being around people. They feel energized by the social interactions as well as with the group activities. The key characteristics of extrovert personality include that they are talkative and expressive, they enjoy meeting new people, they love teamwork and group discussions. Also, they are sociable, energetic, and enthusiastic. They adapt easily to the new environment and they build friendship very quickly. For example, we see salespersons, anchors, event managers, and the HR professionals. They often show these extroverted traits. Why? Because their job involve constant interaction with the people. So we can here say and understand that both introvert and extrovert, they contribute uniquely to a team. They can complement each other. Let's now talk about the big five personality trait, also known as OCEAN, the abbreviation that we have taken to learn these five personality traits that come under this model. This is also one of the most widely accepted scientific model for personality. So it says that people or individual, they are majorly categorized into these five traits. The first trait is openness, which means a person who is very, very open, creative, curious, willing to try new things. Second kind of a personality trait is consciousness, wherein we say that an individual is always disciplined, organized, feels more responsible and reliable for whatever he does. The third trait is extroversion, which means an individual who is more social, more energetic, is always excited and seeking people. The fourth trait is agreeableness. These individuals are more kind, cooperative, empathetic, and also helpful. And finally, the fifth trait is neuroticism, which include the emotional stability of the individual versus the anxiety or the mood swings. So either they will be more stable or they will be more stressed. For example, a person who is high in openness and low in neuroticism. So this kind of an individual is usually very creative and emotionally balanced. So this is an ideal combination for an innovative role. This big five personality trait model is used in HR while recruiting, is used in psychology and also for career counseling. Why? Because it gives a complete overview of a person's behavior. Let's now understand MBTI personality type. The full form of it is Myers-Briggs Type Indicator that classifies people into 16 types, which are based on various factors like introversion versus extroversion, sensing versus intuiting, thinking versus feeling, judging versus perceiving. Again, this is also a widely used model specifically in the functions like hiring, training, and team building. Now, the purpose of this MBTI is to help the individuals to actually understand that how they gather the information, how they make a decision, how they interact with others, how they work in teams, and what are their career preference. So we say that each person, they fall on either of the one side of each dichotomy, because this MBTI, entire model of MBTI, is based on four dichotomies. These are those four dichotomies, and the individual, they fall on one side of each one of them. Like if I talk about extrovert person or versus introvert person, then an extrovert person is, of course, we understand that is more outgoing, he's expressive, he's energized by people and activity. On the other hand, an introvert person is more quiet, reflective. He's energized by solitude and is majorly involved into deep thinking. Similarly, we have sensing versus intuiting. That is how people take the information. So when we talk about sensing, it focuses on the facts, details, present reality, and practical information. But the people who believe on intuition, they focus on the possibility, future patterns, and the imaginations. Then the third one is thinking versus feeling. This helps in answering the question how decisions are made. So the people who are more towards thinking, they are logical, analytical, they value fairness and the objectivity. And when we talk about people who are more inclined towards feeling, they are emotionally driven. They value harmony, relationship, and empathy. The fourth factor or the fourth dichotomy is judging versus perceiving. This helps us to understand the lifestyle and the work style of the individual. So, this judging characterized organized, planned, structured. They prefer closure of the things. And on the other hand, perceiving are the kind of person who are more flexible, they are spontaneous, open to change, and they prefer freedom. So ultimately, when this MBTI test is being filled by the individuals, then the result that we get is always a four-letter word. So it could be ISTJ, it could be ISFJ. So combination of this, and so it makes 16 types of the combinations, and each combination defines the different characteristic of an individual. Now, the next one is locus of control. This locus of control refers to a person's belief about who or what controls the outcome of their life. So, it basically explains that whether people think their success or failure is the result of their own actions or due to some external forces. So, when we talk about this locus of control, we see that it is majorly of two types. The first one is the internal locus, and the second is external locus. So talking about internal locus, here it includes people who believe that they control their life as well as their life's outcomes. So they are the one who usually say that I am responsible for what happens to me, and their actions, their decisions, efforts and abilities, they only determine the results. These kind of people are characterized by the one who take responsibility, who are more confident. They are usually better problem solvers. They are motivated to work hard, and they believe that success only depends on their own efforts. For example, a student who could say that I did well in exams because I studied hard. On the other hand, when we talk about external locus, they are the people who believe that external forces controls their life. So they are a outside factor control my life type of a people. So they believe that anything and everything that is happening with me is because of maybe luck, fate, destiny, or other people decides their outcomes. So these people are generally characterized by the one who are blaming the external forces for their failures, who feel less in control, who are usually more stressed when challenges come, and are very less proactive. Again, taking an example of a student, he could say that I failed because the questions were too tough and the teacher was unfair. Right. So, in simple words, we can understand that an internal locus is equals to I control my life, and external locus is life controls me. Again, both of these types, they influence the behavior, motivation, performance, and decision making of an individual's personal as well as professional life. Now, let's come on to the next section of the unit, which is personality determinants. We all understand as of now that personality, it does not develop overnight. It is shaped by a combination of different factors, and these factors, they influence that how we think, behave and react in various situations. So the major determinants of personality, they include heredity, environment, situation, culture, family, social group, learning and experiences. So in the coming slides, we will be discussing each of these determinants in detail, and will also understand that how they shape any human's behavior. Let's talk about the first determinant, that is heredity. This heredity refers to a genetic factor that passed from parents to the child. So it comes from genes. These include maybe physical features, intelligence level, temperament, and even the natural tendencies. This also heredity influences an individual's confidence level, their emotional stability, their intelligence and cognitive ability, sensitivity or irritability, biological traits such as height, appearance, body structure, right? So these factors, they influence these traits that we had just discussed. For example, the child, he may naturally inherit a calm or maybe a aggressive temperament from maybe his parents. However, when we talk about heredity, we say that it alone does not define a personality. It only provides the base on which the personality develops. So these genes, they give us our straight point, but environment and experience, they shape that how these trait develops. For example, We just talked about a child who could be naturally aggressive in nature because he had inherited this thing from his parents. But it will also be determined in basis the environment or the culture or the company that the child grows with. It may happen that this aggressive nature may converted into a calm nature depending on the environment and the circle that the child grows up with. The next determinant is environment, that generally shapes the personality of an individual. This environment, it plays a major role in shaping the personality. So it includes everything a person experiences, maybe in life, in home, in school, workplace, society, and culture. The factors that are included under environment are the home environment, the school that where the child goes, so his upbringing, the parenting style, the workplace, the atmosphere, the social interactions, neighborhood and community, and even the workplace culture. So these factors, they shape the individual's behavior, habit, and values. For example, a child raised in a supportive and a positive home environment, he often grows up with a higher confidence and emotional stability. Similarly, if we talk about on the other side, maybe a child who grows in a strict or a negative environment, he may make a person more anxious or may more insecure. So this environment, it shapes the behaviors, values, communication styles, as well as attitude of an individual. Let's talk about situation as another determinant of the personality. It refers to the condition or the circumstances in which a person behaves. So it is said that behavior generally changes depending on the situation, right? For example, a shy person, he may act confidently during the presentation, and a calm person may become aggressive in case of emergencies. So these personality is dynamic and it adjusts with the circumstances is the belief when we talk about situation as a personality determinant. This ultimately shows that personality is very dynamic and it is not fixed. And situations can temporarily change the behavior and reveal the different aspect of a person's personality. This situational factor, it also helps us explain that why people behave differently in the different contexts. Next is culture as a determinant of personality. Culture also plays a major role in shaping the personality. Why? Because it is or it influences our belief, values, and behavior. So when we talk about culture, it includes different aspects like communication style, the belief system, the value system, the attitude of an individual, the social behavior, work ethics, their own personal goals, their lifestyle preferences. Right. For example, when we talk about Indian culture, it generally encourages collectivism, family, and group relationship are important here. But when we talk about the Western culture, we have seen that they often promote individualism, independence, and personal achievement. So these culture values, they shape the personality from early childhood and also influence that how people think and interact within the society. The next determinant is family and social group. Family is again, it is the first and most important socializing agent in any person's life, right? So, parents, they teach value, discipline, habits, and emotional responses. They also influence the personality through their parenting style, their emotional environment, values and morals, communication patterns, support and encouragement. So, we can say that these social groups, they include friends, classmates, colleagues, and they also play a major role in shaping the personality. So, these behaviors, attitudes, communication styles, and lifestyles that are generally influenced by the friends and colleagues of an individual. We will try and understand it with an example. Let's say that there is a student who is a part of a positive peer group. He becomes more confident and socially active. On the other hand, if we talk about the one who has a negative peer group, he may develop some harmful habits. So overall, we can say that the family and the social group, they help shape our behavior, thinking style, and the emotional responses. The next determinant is learning and experience. Another important factor that shape the personality of an individual. So we say that learning influences personality through rewards and punishments, feedback from parents, teachers, and supervisors, skill development, training program, behavior reinforcement. And when we talk about experience, then the factors that include are success and failure, difficult situations, social interactions, some life experiences or life events, and workplace experiences. So, for example, a person who overcomes challenging situation, that individual generally becomes more confident and emotionally strong. And this learning and experience, it also helps an individuals to grow, adjust, and refine their personality over a period of time. Having understood all the determinants, now we move on to understanding that how do we evaluate an individual's personality. Evaluating personality actually means assessing an individual's trait, behavior, strengths, weaknesses, right? So organizations, they use personality evaluation to understand that how a person thinks, feels, and interact. These are generally used in the HR, counseling, training, and personal growth within the organization. It further helps match the right person with the right job and also in improving the overall workplace performance. Let's look at the different methods of personality evaluation. One of the most commonly used method of personality evaluation is self-report tests, right? Or self-report questionnaires. Like MBTI, we just discussed, the Big Five personality test. Then there are 16 PF, that is 16 personality factor questionnaire. There is NEO personality inventory, right? These are the examples or the type of tests that are taken up by an individual that helps to determine the personality of an individual. These are again, they are very easy to use, they are cost effective, and they give a very quick insight into the personality. For example, in interview, maybe companies, they often use online personality tests to understand that whether the candidate is a introvert person, a calm person, is more creative, or is detail oriented. Then the next method is a projective test method. They are used to understand the deeper and subconscious aspect of the personality. So these tests, they present very unclear or ambiguous images, and they also then they ask the individuals to interpret those images. Some of the common examples of these tests are this Rorschach ink blot test, which includes describing what they see in the ink blot. Similarly, there is TAG, that is thematic appreciation test, where people tell a story about a picture. There could be similar tests like sentence completion test. Individuals, they complete the unfinished sentences. Maybe word association test. So these tests, they reveal the hidden emotions, internal conflict, and the personality motive of an individual. For example, a person who interprets all the images negatively, he may be experiencing some stress or fear or insecurity in his life. And when we talk about this projective test, they are mostly used in counseling, therapy, and psychological diagnosis. The third type is the behavioral observation, wherein a simple observation method is used. So behaviors are observed here. In this method, the evaluator, they watch a person's behavior in real life situations. They are what they are observing, they are generally observing that how a person handles the pressure, how they communicate, how they behave socially, their teamwork, and their leadership abilities. Then next could be the interviews, wherein a structured interview or a unstructured interview questions are asked from the individuals, and from their responses their personality type is evaluated. Next is situational test. Under this, um, test, the individuals, they are put into simulated in a simulated situation. That could be a real life simulation. For example, group discussions, role plays, presentation exercises, case study analysis, problem solving tasks. And these tests, they help evaluator to understand that how a person behaves, not just what they say. For example, we generally see into campus placements. These group discussions and role plays, they are usually used to observe the communication style, the confidence, and the team behavior of the students. Now we see that what are the uses of these personality evaluation. These are very important in organizations as well as in personal development. So it helps in understanding the strengths, weaknesses, and the behavior pattern of the individual. The major uses of these evaluation tests are in case of recruitment and selection. So it helps in selecting the candidate whose personality matches with the job. It is helpful in career guidance where it helps individuals to choose the right profession depending on their personality type. Then for the training and development of the employees, it helps in identifying the areas where employee needs development. Then in the leadership assessment and development, wherein they find the future leaders and then they prepare them for the next position role. Then as team building, again, it helps in creating the balanced team with diverse personality type. Then in conflict resolution, where they first understand that the personality of an individual, the differences, and then they reduce those clashes. And finally, it is used in case of counseling in for helping individuals to overcome their emotional or behavioral problems. So we see that these personality evaluation, they support better decision making, stronger relationship, and also improved organizational performance. Having understood this entire chapter, let us quickly summarize our unit 4. Personality refers to the unique and stable pattern of thoughts, feeling, and behavior. We have learnt this first. Then we had talked about various theories that explains the formation of the personality. We understood the types of personality through type A, type B. We've understood the introvert and extrovert personality type, the Big Five model, and the MBTI personality type. After that, we had talked about various determinants that help in forming the personality of an individual, like heredity, environment, culture, situation. And finally, we saw that how these personalities are evaluated and what are those methods that are widely used in HR and why do we use these methods to evaluate the personality. I hope the concepts explained in this entire unit are clear. Let's now look at some important exam questions. Among the short answers, we see define personality, what is type A personality, explain heredity as a determinant, what is locus of control. And in the long answers, the questions generally seen are explain big five personality traits. So here you'll have to elaborate all the five models OCEAN. Describe the personality determinants, discuss evaluation method of personality and difference between introvert and extrovert personality. Thank you so much for learning with BB Simplified by Dr. Vinki Sharma. Next video, we will be finishing our marathon class on team building and leadership by covering our unit 5, which is meaning of group. Do like, share, and subscribe for more marathon classes. Thank you so much for watching.